Hey, I'm Jonny. I'm one of Circle of Hope's pastors. One of the challenges we face as we plant a church in the United States is that we don't get to start from a blank slate. People already have an idea about Christians and about God because the United States, its ethos, its mythology is wrapped up and even exploitative of Christianity. So Christianity is part of the cultural landscape in the United States, just like any other cultural artifact, whether it's football or apple pie or Walmart. And I think it's especially true among people that might decide to check out a church. Like even you who are watching this video, maybe you have an idea about what Christianity is like. But the culture itself largely seems to have moved beyond Christianity, even if the residue of Christianity is still all over it. And more people are not identifying as Christians. So our old church buildings are ending up being turned into condos, and a lot of different people are losing faith. And so Christianity right now is no longer an assumption about people. 500 years ago, it was impossible for people to not believe in God, and these days it seems impossible for them to believe in God. And so we're up against all sorts of different competing philosophies and understandings. And so the soil that we stand on is not exactly fertile for faith to grow. Before, finding God was as simple as waking up in a Christian culture, in a Christian hegemony, if you will. But that's not how the world is anymore. And you know it's not because there are people that you see that are committed. They're committed to making it like it was before as they imagined it. They're the fundamentalists, you might say, who have allied with white nationalists as they grasp for a time that has passed. So Western Christianity seems to have become synonymous with Westernism. And so we can see why such an odd alliance makes sense. But that sort of alliance is deadly to the church. It's costly to the church. We need to find a new ground to plant. New ground to plant the church in our postmodern landscape and to undo the idea that Christianity is cultural at all. You know, we're not grandiose as in Circle of Hope to speak on behalf of the whole church, but we're applying what we've been given to do in a very specific time and place because we're not content to live off of the inheritance of the church. We want to do something different. But the fact that there is cultural residue about Christianity, there is ideas about Christianity, is something that we need to undo because people self-select out of joining a faith community and following Jesus because they have an idea about what Christianity is like. And so it's almost like if I tell you to, hey, come and check out one of our meetings, come to a cell, it might be like me telling you, why don't you go try McDonald's again? You might like it. Because you have an idea already about what McDonald's is like. In the same way, you might have an idea about what Jesus is like. So that's the dilemma we face. And so to address this, our pastors across all of our congregations have been coming up with folk theological sayings that people believe even come from the Bible or come from Jesus. We have a series that we're working on now that I invite you to enter into called Things Jesus Never Said, because there are a lot of ideas about Jesus and about Christianity in this cultural landscape that may cause you not to be really interested in joining a community and joining the church and following Jesus. You know, we want to, so the goal with this series really is to knock off some barnacles that have grown onto our ship of faith. Not because we want a clean ship particularly, but because maybe the barnacles, and they're kind of scary, are scaring people off. So let's clean off the ship a little bit and see if we can't get more passengers. That's why I invite you to come check out one of our Sunday meetings and listen to us talk about things Jesus never said. We've already done a few. God doesn't give you more than you can handle. That's one, that something Jesus never said. Be a good person is another one. We just did love the sinner, hate the sin. And we have a whole series of ideas that we're working with that we think are in the culture that we want to find the best in, but really point to where Jesus is actually saying. So I hope you'll join us, and I hope that this whole idea of figuring out how to plant the church in this native soil now is appealing to you, and you want to help us build that kind of church.